Friday already, and not just any Friday, but the last one in January. The days are moving swiftly and steadily, but don't let that make you uneasy. There's still plenty of time to accomplish everything you've planned for the year ahead. On that note, welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams, and we have a packed show lined up, bringing you stories that will broaden your horizons and keep you connected to what's happening across Jamaica. Please stay with us. The news is next.
Good day, I'm Jabertha Atkinson, and this is your JIS news for Friday, January 30, 2026. Flexible work arrangements across the public sector will go into force on February 2, following the official launch yesterday. Its implementation is being led by the Ministry of Efficiency, Innovation and Digital Transformation within the Office of the Prime Minister, in collaboration with the Ministries of Labour and Social Security and Finance and the Public Service. Minister of Efficiency, Innovation and Digital Transformation, Ambassador Audrey Marks, says it further advances the objectives of the Public Sector Transformation Program, PSTP, and will ultimately support productivity.
Productivity is driven by outcomes, not just physical presence. Under the PSTP, we are shifting from a process-driven public service to a results-oriented one. Flexible work arrangements reinforce this shift by encouraging managers to focus on outputs, service quality, and accountability, rather than hours spent in the office. This is fully consistent with the program's emphasis on performance-based management and continuous improvement.
The minister asserts that flexible work arrangements enhance government's ability to attract and retain talent, while staff benefit from better work-life balance, reduced commuting cost and time, and improved mental and physical well-being. The point was echoed by President of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, St. Patrice Ennis.
This approach recognizes the daily realities faced by workers, including the long commutes, the transportation costs, the family responsibilities, and the need for greater resilience in an increasingly uncertain environment.
The flexi arrangement is being rolled out on a phased basis, starting with staggered hours that retain the traditional working hours of 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., while introducing 4 new time bands. Ambassador Marks says implementation of staggered working hours is not mandatory, but it is strongly recommended. In line with the 2014 Employment Flexible Work Arrangements Miscellaneous Provisions Act, subsequent phases will include hybrid work, telecommuting, and compressed work week. In the coming weeks, the minister says she will be reaching out through the PSOJ to discuss total adoption across the private sector. Approximately 200 main roads across the island are to be patched by March under the $1.7 billion GO program. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, says $500 million will be spent in Kingston and St. Andrew, with the next largest expenditure of $206 million planned for Clarendon. $130 million will patch roads in St. James, $107 million in Trelawney, and $100 million in Westmoreland.
And this is separate from the work we're doing now to repair roads that were washed out by Melissa. This is main road patching. This is the work that we're doing in all the hills of Westmoreland is a separate program through the National Works Agency.
The program, which was announced last year, was halted because of the closure of some asphalt plants as well as the rain. Minister Morgan says he expects that work will resume by the end of January. Meanwhile, the government has sought to allay the fears of those who believe that the One Road Authority, ORA, is coming to relieve entities such as municipal corporations of their road responsibilities. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, addressed the matter during this week's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
It would be irresponsible and foolhardy for one agency to seek to take control of every single road in Jamaica. Because there are indeed roads that are legitimately community roads, that should continue to be the responsibility of the local authorities.
He explains that the core mandate of the One Road Authority is to regulate standards and performance for all roads, but implement works on national main roads. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz is making it clear that the seabed survey for evidence of oil and gas in Jamaica's territorial waters does not involve drilling or production. United Oil and Gas is preparing to launch the Surface Geochemical Exploration Program to determine whether oil-like substances found beneath Jamaica's waters are commercially viable. The 3 to 4 week survey is being carried out under a production sharing agreement between the Government of Jamaica and UK-based United Oil and Gas plc. The work is being conducted by the research vessel RV Gar, operated by TDI Brooks International. Speaking at the docking of the vessel in Kingston on Monday, Minister Vaz highlighted that the exercise was strictly for data collection and was fully regulated.
This survey does not authorize drilling or production. It is for data gathering, and it is a data gathering exercise that supports informed, responsible, evidence-based decision-making by the Government of Jamaica. Importantly, this survey has received all the required regulatory approvals from the National Environmental and Planning Agency and the National Fisheries Authority. The approvals ensure that the activity is conducted in a manner that protects Jamaica's marine environment and safeguards the livelihoods of our fishing communities.
The survey is focused on the Walton Morant license area, which runs along Jamaica's entire southern coastline. Chief Executive Officer of United Oil and Gas plc, Brian Larkin, outlined the technical work involved.
We begin with a multi-beam mapping to understand the seabed. That allows us to refine where we go next. We then carry out heat flow measurements at selected locations, which is the final step in piston coring, which involves taking narrow sediment samples from the seabed at approximately 41 locations.
Core samples will be sent to TDI Brooks' laboratory in the United States for analysis. Preliminary results are expected 1 to 2 months after fieldwork ends, with final findings due by mid-2026. The Senate has approved a measure aimed at phasing out inefficient incandescent lighting and promoting the use of energy-saving LED alternatives. The trade standard incandescent light sources prohibition except under License Order 2025 was approved in the Upper House last Friday, January 23. It follows on the April 2023 ban on the importation and manufacture of standard incandescent bulbs.
The objects of the order are to facilitate the phase out inefficient lighting technologies, support national energy conservation initiatives, align Jamaica's trade regulations with sustainable environmental goals, and enable a controlled and limited use of incandescent light sources where no suitable alternative exists.
Rather than an outright ban for all users, under the order, incandescent light sources can be imported or sold under specific license, and its use is allowed in various sectors where there is no suitable alternative.
Importation of standard incandescent light sources is prohibited except under the authority of a license. Licenses are valid for up to 12 months from the date of issue. The phased prohibition takes effect first, less than 40 lumens watt, effective April 1, 2026, and secondly, 40 to 54 lumens watt, effective April 1, 2027.
And finally, the Ministry of Education has announced the extension of its Rapid Resumption Grant to early childhood institutions, ECIs, and independent schools that were affected by Hurricane Melissa. The grants are designed to help schools recover swiftly by facilitating funding for cleanup, sanitation, debris removal, and restoration of utilities. Portfolio Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the extension applies to ECIs and independent schools that have already submitted damage reports to the Early Childhood Commission and the ministry.
This is not something that's usually done because these are private institutions, but given the fact that we've all agreed that the early years are so important, even though they are not public institutions, it is important that we support them as best as possible.
Under the expanded program, grant support will increase from $80,000 to $120,000 per institution.
Based on preliminary assessments, we are expected to disburse approximately $31 million in grants in the first tranche, and additional funding can be made available to early childhood institutions should the need expand.
The minister was addressing last week's sitting of the Senate. She says the rapid resumption grants are intended to complement, not replace, credit facilities currently being offered through the Development Bank of Jamaica DBJ. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Jabertha Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
The National Rural School Bus Program is getting smarter. With your child's student ID card, parents receive real-time notifications every time they board or exit the bus. Each card is unique and securely linked to the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information database. Tap on, tap off, and parents stay updated instantly. So, how do you register? Number 1. Visit jamaica-district.mysmartterm.com/bus-portal/registration. Number 2. Enter your child's details. Number 3. Upload supporting documents. Number 4. Submit your application. It's that easy. Safer, smarter, more secure. Register today and ride with peace of mind.
Thank you for staying with us. As you know, January is Earthquake Awareness Month. And before we close out the observation, it's an ideal time to highlight what to do if an earthquake should strike. That demonstration is coming from Seaside Primary School. Let's take a look.
Earthquake drills help schools respond safely, reduce panic, limit injuries, and reinforce emergency procedures. Across schools island-wide, earthquake preparedness is becoming as essential as textbooks and timetables, and that focus is evident at Seaside Primary School.
So our drill, earthquake drill, just like the fire drill, but slightly different. What we do is that we raise an alarm using an unusual method, whether it is a horn or a whistle. We don't use a bell because the bell signals the end of class and other activities in the school. So we don't want persons to mistake the alarm for a usual activity or a usual signal. In raising the alarm, then teachers, whichever adult that is supervising each class at the moment will guide students to take cover, to drop, take cover. And of course, because it's not an actual earthquake, we find that they will count just to give the tremor some time to pass. And then when it is safe, deemed safe, they can leave, exit the building in an orderly fashion. So having the assimilation really teaches them that this is not a moment where you prove your speed, but to be cautious, because we don't know on your path to the assembly area if there's anything happening. So you need to be cautious, walking briskly but safely, where no one gets shoved or pushed and then causing a stampede or causing harm to any other person that is making their route to the assembly point. So, and then once they get that part of it, then the assembly itself, where the field, our football field, is the assembly point, and the students will have to be as quiet as they can so that teachers can quickly go through the register to make sure that all students are accounted for, and each teacher will carry out that activity and report to me or the vice or the senior teacher that is in charge. Whoever is in charge on a day such as that, they will report to that person that all students are accounted for. If students are missing, there's a team to go back and find those students. At the end of it all, there's a team also to go and check the building to make sure that there are no structural damages, there is nothing that is in the way, and that's it, the building is deemed safe to return to. So being ready for the eventuality of an earthquake is something that we must have our stakeholders prepare for. So we have a very active WhatsApp group with over 250 persons, because we have mothers and fathers. We have 214 students on roll, but we have over 250 persons in the WhatsApp group. Sometimes we have grandparents in the group as well. So our reach is pretty far when it comes on to our parent stakeholders. So at the end of the day, we'll be posting pictures, we'll be posting earthquake tips and so on, and to let them know that this is what happened at school today. And then by doing so, what will happen is that we raise an awareness in the homes too, and the tips will go at home so that the learning continues there.
From drills to outreach, Seaside Primary is building earthquake readiness, one practice run at a time.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal. We now take a look at how the National Fisheries Authority works to ensure that fish sold to the public is safe for consumption.
From the moment a line is cast to when a fillet hits your frying pan, there is an entire system working quietly in the background to ensure what you eat is fresh, safe, and of the highest quality. At the heart of that system is the National Fisheries Authority. For the NFA, the journey begins with the fisher, guiding and supporting them to ensure Jamaica's seafood remains among the best.
The first and main thing is that we ensure that all persons fishing are licensed to be a fisher. That is the first thing. We also have data collectors, extension officers, and compliance officers who ensure that we know where the fish is caught, what was caught, the quantities. And we also give good advice to our fishers how to the best practice. We also collaborate with other agencies, for example, the Public Health Department through the Ministry of Health and the Veterinary Services Division through the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining.
The NFA also provides hands-on training in vessel handling, safe diving, long line and fad fishing techniques, and most importantly, post-harvest care.
We give training on long line fisheries and fad fisheries for them to increase their catch. but we also teach them how to work with that catch after they have caught it. So our staff interacts. Education is the key, and we try our best to have outreach and educational activities all the time.
But the process doesn't end at sea. Once the fish reaches shore, safety remains the priority.
The product should be iced. Ice kept in a cooler if they're transporting it, if they don't have a mobile refrigerator. If they take it home and it's there, wash the fish thoroughly with potable water and keep it refrigerated or iced until time to consume, until you're ready to use the product.
That's a standard that fishers like Kevin live by.
I bring a lot of ice with me, to preserve it, to make it fresh, right? So as I catch the fish, I go straight on the ice so it keeps the meat firm. So what I normally do is I get the fish, clean it up, and I put it in a bucket or a bag with some salt water, seawater, and I will freeze that in the freezer. When you take that out, the day you're going to use it, it's just like you just catch a fish.
But freshness isn't only up to the fisher. It's something consumers should be able to spot too.
Say, for example, I sell you the fish. You'll try to make sure that it's clean thoroughly, get out the scale and the guts, wash it properly.
And the best clues, the eyes, smell, and the feel.
The eyes tell a lot, The eyes look kind of glassy, like blurry like. You can see that it's been catch for a while and probably didn't store properly. And also the smell, it have a funky smell, like it's, in Jamaica we say it smell moldy. Or it probably can differentiate, or sometimes when you squeeze it, you can feel a little softness.
Once you have bought your fish, temperature is everything. Keep it as cold as possible, ideally just above freezing.
And if you're going to store it in the freezer, you try to get off most of the moisture. That way it prevents the freezer burn.
And in the kitchen, food safety is key. Cook fish to an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit or 63 degrees Celsius. It should be opaque and flake easily with a fork. Never eat fish that smells sour, rancid, or ammonia-like, because at the end of the day, the responsibility for safe, high-quality seafood is a shared one. Next time you add fish to your grocery list, remember, it reflects the work of licensing officers, trainers, early rising fishers, and families. A tradition and a passion that keeps Jamaica thriving at sea.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
In an effort to clamp down on predial larceny, the Jamaica Agricultural Society and other stakeholders are urging all farmers to use a receipt book to record their produce sales. It may seem tedious, but the benefits are clear. Let's take a closer look.
Following amendments to the Agricultural Produce Act, farmers are now being encouraged to use the agricultural receipt book when selling their produce to merchants. The receipt book is part of the Ministry of Agriculture's broader effort to improve traceability in the agricultural sector and reduce the theft of farm produce. Farmers who need the receipt book can obtain it by contacting the Jamaica Agricultural Society.
In order for farmers to purchase the said receipt book, they should apply to RADA, and once they are registered and verified, then they should proceed to the Jamaica Agricultural Society to purchase the receipt book. Cost of the book was recently increased to $1,200 per receipt book, and they are available at all JAS office island-wide. When a farmer wants to purchase the receipt book, they should present their Rural Agricultural Development Authority ID, and with that ID, our officers are able to access the Agricultural Business Information System, ABIS, to verify that the person purchasing the book is actually the farmer. If a farmer does not present the ID, then they need to present a national ID that we could use to verify that they are actually the individual that is registered on ABIS. The penalties for non-compliance, the amendments to the APA in 2023 have seen the penalty, the costs move from $250,000 to $3 million in some instances, and the penalty moving from 3 months to as high as 3 years for non-compliance. So I will take this opportunity to advise farmers who are not registered to get registered, and those who have not purchased their agricultural receipt book to come to the Jamaica Agricultural Society to purchase their receipt book as well.
With all schools fully resuming operations on January 14, 2.5 months after the passage of Hurricane Melissa, Minister of Education Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says this achievement reflects the strength of Jamaican capacity when we act with unity and purpose. Speaking in the Senate, Dr. Morris-Dixon highlighted the coordinated efforts that made the reopening possible.
We mobilized temporary structures. It's not perfect. We have the temporary structures. We've mobilized furniture, learning kits, utility support, psychosocial support, and financial resources to keep schools open and students engaged. We reprioritized exams in line with our stakeholders' positions. The road ahead will require continued discipline and continued partnership. The schools aren't fully rebuilt. We have a lot of work to do during this year. But I thank our teachers, principals, school boards, our regional teams and central technocrats, our contractors and suppliers, our donors and international partners, and the public servants across government who have kept the system moving.
This is where we wrap up today's program. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and uplifted. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging edition of Jamaica Magazine, right here on this station. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recap and more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching, and as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.